Hi guys, ever wanted to make a leather piping strips and get it down 10 times faster? Like most beginners, I thought just glue them together. That's exactly what I did. Then I started sewing, and the strips started peeling apart. Honestly, I was frustrated, completely stuck. Then I discovered this pressure foot set. I couldn't believe it. Today I'll show you exactly how I do it from start to finish. By the end, you will know how to make piping strips faster, easier, and actually get them right. I have to admit that when it comes to leatherwork, we all secretly want to buy a sewing machine. And honestly, I am a sewing machine addict. I buy them, I started them, I can't really go to sleep without them. So here's the sewing machine I got. This is what it looks like. It came with a bunch of bobbins, and I also bought needles in all kinds of sizes and shapes. And of course, there are plenty of pressure feet too. Honestly, this pressure feet I never even touched. This grooved one is the one I use the most. But this one next to it, totally useless. I have no idea why the factory even bothered making it. These two here are the ones I modified. I took that grooved foot, cut off one side, and turned it into the left foot and the right foot. Besides, an even more important attachment on the sewing machine is the edge guide. This hand screw up here, you can raise or lower it depending on what you are sewing. Most of the time, you just tighten it by hand. This knob here moves it side to side. So once you set it up the way you want, up, down, left, and right, you're good to go. This is the pressure foot set I use the most, and it's also just about the most basic one you can buy. So let me show you how I usually install it. I pop the pressure foot onto the machine. And to hold it there, then I do the right foot. Line it up with the center hole of the feed dog. Once that's tightened, I move on to the left foot. Adjust it, and lock that one down too. The pressure feet work kind of like you're walking. They pull the leather forward together with the feed dog underneath while you are sewing. For better result, the edge guide keeping the stitch width steady, so you can see this combo is pretty much perfect. Yes, this is the main leather piece of the glasses case I'm making. I'll give you a quick demo. See how this setup works. Okay, without the edge guide, I'd be lost, making mistakes. That's why when it comes to good leather work, you can't skip these red accessories. Here's the field side piece from the last episode I made. You can see the curve isn't symmetrical, and some spots got ruined by my stitching. That's all happened because I didn't figure out which pressure foot to use the right way to approach it. What if I want to sew the piping strip with this pressure foot? You will see the right foot just won't fit. So in this case, the single right foot works a lot better. Let me show you and you just imagine it in your head. Alright, now I'm swapping it on and we'll do a real demo. When I put on the pressure foot, I line it up with the piping strip stitch line. Tighten it. Then adjust the guide and lock it too. This was my plan based on the parts I had. And at the time, I thought it was better. But look, the corner messed things up. Those little misalignments make it way too easy to screw up. So if you haven't seen more of the accessories, different sewing jobs can be really confusing. Sometimes I just ended up hand sewing it. That's how I see it. Do you think the same way? It wasn't until I got this presser foot made especially for piping strips that things really clicked for me. See the round groove at the bottom of the foot? I line it up on the ladder strip, and you can feel how perfect it fits, especially around corners. It drastically reduces misaligned stitches. The left foot is part of the set. So now I'll put it on and show you how it works. Same deal when I installed it. I put the ladder strip underneath as a reference. Then tighten it down. I'll show you again with it, so you can see how it works. Look, the corners stay aligned now, right? Let me switch angles so it's easier to see. And next, I'll make a piping strip from the very beginning for you. Here's the plastic core I'm using with the pre-cut ladder strips. I went over the details in the earlier video, so check that out if you want. To make the piping strip, you just wrap the ladder around the core and make sure it stays nice and centered. This is the needle I'm using, a round tip, size 14. You don't want it too big, or the hole will be too large. You really have to watch out. The needle has a groove, so when you install it, make sure it fits the bobbin. If you get it wrong, the needle can break, or worse, you will mess up the machine. So let me show you how I install the needle. I make sure the groove faces right, and try not to put it in slanted. Once it's in, check that if it is tightened properly. Then give it a manual test. After that, double check that the center of the presser foot line up with the needle. Next up is threading the needle. I'm using nylon thread that's close to the color of the ladder. Size 40. I like it a bit thinner. It just works better for the kind of ladder. This idea is to keep the stitches neat and no punch too big holes, so the ladder stays clean and smooth. Here's the bobbin thread, same color as upper thread. I like to keep it matching so the stitches look clean and consistent. This is how I got my sewing machine set up. Different brands may have slightly different way to do it, but it's mostly the same. Bobbin thread comes up through the top thread. Then it's guided to the side. Now I'm actually starting to sew. At first, since there is no glue, it goes a bit slow. And because I'm not using the left foot while sewing the piping strip with this presser foot, I need to give the ladder a little push by hand. I like to start the first stitch manually, then keep making sure the edges stay aligned. I've noticed that with this presser foot, I don't even need the edge guide anymore. Let me switch angles so you can see more clearly. Here is how I work. I guide it forward with both hands, making sure the core is in the middle. I'm using Vegetan leather, which is pretty stiff, so it's a bit tricky. If you use something softer, it will be much easier. Okay, let me change the angle again so you can really see what I'm doing and how I hold it. Keep the edges lined up and make sure the core stays while I sew. What do you think of them? So if you already have a sewing machine and are thinking of getting one, and one day you want to make piping strip, here's the thing. There are tons of different presser fit. It's not just about using the machine. You've got to discover the right accessory to speed things up. Now, with the presser foot, I can sew it all in just a few minutes. Of course, sometimes the thread gets a little loose. But no worries, just like I do. Use a nail to gently pull the thread to the end, and you are good. Once the strips are done, I can get back to sew the glasses case. In the next episode, I'll show you how I attach the strip to the side pieces. So see you next time.